Hi, my name is Ann Carollo and I am the owner of Gulf Coast Dance Center, and today I'm going to teach you your ballet arms. So today I'm going to go ahead and break down the complex ballet arms, and I hope that this makes it a little bit easier to understand for your ballet class. Let's get started with our feet in first position, and we're going to start with the very beginning position, or I usually a lot of times think of this like being at rest for ballet, but our arm is in fifth en bas. Fifth en bas means low fifth, which makes sense because our arms are low. The shape of it is in an oval. So again, if it was circular, it would be too high, so there is the oval. Second, I want you to think about you're holding an egg. The reason why I say an egg is because it has an oval shape, but it also has space. So we want to create space away from our body. If we were to hold something really flat, this egg would fall out. So we have to hold the arms out a little bit because we actually don't want to touch our body, our beautiful costumes, anything that we might have. So we have these nice long oval shaped arms sitting low, and this is fifth en bas. The next position we're going to rise to is first position. The arms are going to lift, and as they lift, they're going to come a little closer to your body. So I'm no longer in an oval and I'm in a circle. What I want you to think about is you yourself, your shoulders, all of that are part of this circle, and the height that this position rises to is at the bottom of your sternum bone, okay, or bra line if you're a lady. So this is where our arm sits, and this is called first position in the French, or fifth en avant if you're ABT or Cecchetti. And then again, this is kind of interesting because most people get this one mixed up the most. They're both correct, so you can call it first or fifth en avant. The next position we're going to open to is we're going to lengthen out to second position. This is the hardest position in what I feel like is the hardest position. Reason being is most people will drop their elbows. So here you want to keep your elbows nice and lifted. Your palms are facing out to the audience. Our thumbs are dropped in. And if you were to truly put a raindrop on our shoulder drop, it would be able to slide down and off. That is one of the best ways to tell if you're doing your arms correctly, because if you break this or are too high, that's a great way to tell if your arms are correct. From here, we're going to take it to élanger. Élanger means to elongate. So this is not an arm position, this is more of a feeling or a going through position. We're gonna lengthen our arms out, fingers reaching to the walls. And from here, I'm gonna turn sideways again. So I'm not directly out, I went from second, and I'm going to lengthen in that slight forward direction. And from here, I'm gonna let my arms start to fall. They're gonna fall stopping about 45% of the way, or the 45-degree angle, I should say. And then I'm going to scoop underneath to replace back to fifth en bas. The one way that we want to do that is you can think of either keeping your armpits open and airing out. That's what one dance teacher told me for years, was just keep everything nice and lifted and open. Or you can even think of a toothpick, something that's going to stop your body from closing off and then popping back out. So let me do that one more time. So from the second position, we go through élanger, we start to fall, we hit about that 45-degree angle, and then we're gonna scoop is one way to think about it, underneath to replace ourselves back to fifth en bas. So let me go through that one more time a little quicker. So we have fifth en bas, low fifth. We lift to a circle, first position or fifth en avant. We're gonna open out to second position. From second, we're gonna pass through an élanger, which means to elongate, and we're gonna fall, scooping underneath ourselves back to fifth en bas. So this is the start of Cecchetti Port de Bras number 1, which I was introduced to when I did my ABT training, and I found it extremely valuable, and I have loved it for teaching my students. So with that in mind, that was Cecchetti Port de Bras 1, or the start of, because there's a lot more layers that we'll get into later in another video. But now we're gonna do Cecchetti Port de Bras number 3, which goes high. So from fifth en bas, we're gonna now pass through the first and go all the way to the top. This is called fifth en O, which is high fifth. One of the ways that I have my students remember is O is that there's a shape of an O in a way around your face, but it is technically an oval. My fingers aren't gonna drop in, they're gonna be nice and lifted. My shoulders have to be down. So another imagery I really love here is that you're a turtle coming out of your shell. So your head is lengthening, your neck is getting long, but your shoulder or your shell is going away from your head. From here, we're gonna open out to second, pushing down in our pinky fingers, because like we said earlier, our palms have to stay facing you. Our elbows are gonna be nice and lifted, and we're gonna go through second, and now élanger out, and then we're gonna come and scoop under to fifth en bas. Let's do that one more time. We're gonna pass through all the way up to fifth on O. Shoulders are down. We're gonna press down through our pinky fingers to second position, and we're gonna lengthen out through élanger and come and scoop under to fifth en bas. So let's get into the second position, as this one is usually the hardest one for people to feel. And the reason is because we don't really know how to separate using our triceps from our biceps. And so a lot of times we'll drop and we'll let this arm sit up and our elbow will be down to the floor. So we have to actually learn to rotate in our shoulder. But what's interesting is we can rotate in our shoulder without overthinking it. But as soon as I tell people to rotate, this happens. So what I want every one of you guys to do is to place your arms in, I don't know, like a funky little robotic U shape. Your shoulders are now actually rotated, and you don't even realize it. So pushing down, we're gonna rotate our palms towards each other, and you're gonna maintain and just lengthen out. This is one great way to practice keeping those shoulders rolled, because what's actually happening is this section of the arm is rotating forward, this direction. The forearm is actually rotating backwards, and we also have to the wrist also has to follow, and we need to find that pinky finger in alignment all the way across. One of the things that you can also look in the mirror is when I relax, you can see the back of my arm, and I want you to rotate, and again, that muscle now pulls up, and it's nice and supported, and we're strong all the way across. But again, this is one of the hardest positions to master. So I hope that little tip helps with that as far as finding the rotation in your shoulder. So now I'm gonna introduce you to one of my favorite tools for my intro to ballet class, a number 2 pencil, and no, you don't have to take a test. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna place the pencil between our fingers. So it's our second finger, and it's gonna sit right above that knuckle on both. All the other fingers are gonna sit on top, and we're gonna drop our thumb towards this finger. But more importantly, what this is gonna do is gonna help you show the relationship of your arms and wrists to the floor. So let's go back to the very beginning. Our feet are in first, our arms are in fifth en bas. With the pencil, the proper placement of my wrist now show the pencils being parallel to the floor, okay? They're parallel, they're also placed to the middle of my thigh, which shows that I have great placement of my arms in fifth en bas. From here, I'm gonna lift to first. When I lift, I want them to now be perpendicular to the floor. So if I had droopy wrist, they would not be perpendicular, they'd be all askewed. So we're gonna pull it up. Again, we're aiming for this pinky finger to be directly level with the floor, but again, the pencils will really help. From here, we're gonna lengthen out to second position, maintaining that perpendicular alignment to the floor with our pencils. Again, not allowing the wrist to drop, not allowing the wrist to twist, keeping it there. From here, we're gonna lengthen out to élanger. They now go back to being parallel to the floor, and as they fall, they're gonna scoop and be placed once again parallel to the floor and to the middle of our thigh. So that is the Cecchetti 1 port-de-bras, the basics. Now let's go to the next one. This is where the pencils really start to help. So we're gonna bring them all the way to the top. Again, we are now parallel to the floor, and the end of the pencil is pointing straight forward. Here's the tricky part, pushing down in our pinky fingers. So think about the end of these pencils are now aiming for the floor. So as we push out and down, I'm gonna start pushing these pencils down. So again, I'm now perpendicular. Let me show you what that would look like if I did it wrong. So if I go to the top and I let my elbows lead and my palms up, I'm parallel, and I actually need to be here, okay? So again, when I say push down in your pinky fingers, it's pushing down in the end of the pencil. So we're pushing down in our pinkies. So we arrive with our palms forward to the audience. Again, making sure the elbows stay lifted. Lengthen out through élanger, come down, and we scoop through the bottom to fifth en bas. Again, Probably one of my favorite tools. I know everyone's got one in their house. 2 pens, whatever you need, but this is a great tool to grab when you're working on your arms. So I hope that tip helps. I hope that today I demystified the ballet arms for you. They are so beautiful and they are the epitome of what you think of as grace, but I will say and acknowledge that they're really hard, but with the right practice and placement, it will get easier, so keep doing it and you'll naturally just get better. I hope you liked this video today and learned something. If you did, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And don't forget in the comments below, I love hearing the questions, or if you have any future videos you'd like to see, that would be wonderful as well. And remember, trust the process and enjoy your journey.